This is Moose, and you're listening to Interactive Wrestling Radio.
You're listening to Interactive Wrestling Radio, featuring the interactive interview, courtesy of WrestlingEpicenter.com. Merry Wrestling Christmas, wrestling fans! Here we are once again with another interview from another company who's going to be making a big impact, pun intended, this weekend as WrestleMania weekend marches on. We are bringing you a star who's on the poster of the Impact Wrestling vs. Lucha Underground show that will be taking place at WrestleCon. I speak of Moose. Moose. Match hasn't been announced yet, but he did tell us he will be there, and I hope you guys enjoy hearing what Moose has to say. It's our second stint with Moose here on Interactive Wrestling Radio. So glad to have him on. He's a man of few words, but if you ask him questions, he's going to answer them. His answers are straight to the point, but they definitely are worth hearing. So I hope you guys enjoy the interview. I want to thank Impact Wrestling for granting us this interview. I want to praise the Impact Wrestling Twitch station. I was checking it out just last night, trying to get set up and ready for the big festivities this week. I was watching one of the Wednesday night pay-per-views that they have streaming on there. Awesome stuff. If you haven't checked it out, find Impact Wrestling on Twitch and get ready for this weekend's festivities, where there'll be hours and hours of exclusive brand new content, not the least of which, of course, is the big show that is Impact Wrestling vs. Lucha Underground. Here we go. It is WrestleMania season. It is wrestling Christmas time. I want to thank Ring of Honor as well. Last week they gave us Bobby Cruz for an interview. I'm still trying to get them to give us Cody Rhodes. We're working on it. We're going to make it happen. Enjoy the weekend of wrestling, guys, from Impact Wrestling, from Lucha Underground, from Ring of Honor, and, of course, World Wrestling Entertainment, the WWE. It's WrestleMania weekend. It's our season. It's the Super Bowl of wrestling. And, man, I hope you guys have something you're excited about, because I sure do. Enjoy this interview, and we'll see you next time here at Interactive Wrestling Radio.
It's Vader time.
It was Vader time in 2009 when the Wrestling Epicenter welcomed Big Van Vader to our show.
Yeah, he did. He picked the ear up off the ring and carried it to the back where I believe Chad was fully would get something off to do it, but they never reattached it. That he has that long hair, so you don't really see it, but they never reattached the ear, so it looks pretty ugly.
This sensational interview is available in our extensive archives at interactivewrestlingradio.com and WrestlingEpicenter.com.
This is Kiera Hogan, and you are in the Epicenter.
The following sound clip is used with full permission from Frontiers Music SRL. It is L.A. Guns performing No Mercy off their new record, Made in Milan, live, available on CD and DVD. Want your advertisement here? Check out WrestlingEpicenter.com and shoot us an email. You can have your ad appear on our podcasts as well as on our website. Once again, check out WrestlingEpicenter.com and contact us.
Let me talk to you, dummies. It's Eli Drake, and you're listening to Interactive Wrestling Radio.
welcome back to Interactive Wrestling Radio right here on WrestlingEpicenter.com. On the Newsmaker line with me right now is one of Impact Wrestling's biggest stars. He is Moose. Moose, are you with us?
Yeah.
So glad to have you on the line, man. It's been an exciting time. We had you on before last summer, just after Slammiversary. It's been an exciting time to be an Impact Wrestling fan with all the changes that have been going on in the office and a very big change in momentum for the company. It feels like things are going in the right direction. How do you feel under the new management of Impact Wrestling?
Great, man. Scott D'Amore and Don and Sanjay are doing a good job running the show, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Absolutely, and this is a big week for wrestling in general, especially for Impact Wrestling, as you guys have your co-headlining event at WrestleCon with Impact Wrestling versus Lucha Underground. I see you on the ad for the event, but I do not yet see you on the card. Any idea what you're going to be doing at WrestleCon?
Yeah, I know what I'm doing, but I mean, I don't know if it's my place to say, but I mean, I have a match that some might consider a dream match. So if you don't have a ticket, get one. And I mean, the show is stacked already, and it's going to be a great night. I think it's probably one of the most talked about show of the weekend. So.
Definitely it's going to be, and it's really cool to see Impact Wrestling getting out there. You guys just came back from doing big-time wrestling out in California. You guys often head up to do Border City Wrestling. How do you like getting out there in front of the live audience and seeing Impact Wrestling banners once again out, not just in one arena like in the Impact Zone?
I think that's what we've been missing, just hitting the road a little bit. The last few shows that were winning the road have all been sellouts. So, I mean, that shows what the company can do and what we're capable of doing when we leave the Impact Zone. And I'm glad that we're starting to tour a little bit more.
Absolutely. And you guys are heading to the UK soon, too, so that's going to be even better for the company.
Yeah, I think that's set for September 9th, I believe.
Yes, sir. So we've had you on before. I wanted to kind of go over a couple of things maybe we covered before. I think at the time you might have been in a contract conversation, so it was probably not the best time to have had you. But as a former NFL star, we're seeing a lot of guys, like, for example, Rob Gronkowski, easy for me to say, thinking about getting involved in wrestling instead. In fact, I think he recently said, even on NFL Network, that he's weighing his options and he's considering wrestling over football. What is it about professional wrestling that appeals to football stars like yourself?
I mean, I think it's an easier transition to get into professional wrestling from football. But I mean, I think Gronkowski, I think he has a big enough personality that he'll do great. I mean, we all know he's an athlete. So, and I personally know him, and I know he has a big enough personality that he would actually do fantastic in wrestling.
Excellent, excellent. We interviewed a fellow Impact Wrestling star, new one, Kiera Hogan, who was trained by the same person you have been. I was always a big fan of this guy. I wanted to ask you, did you have any thoughts on the big cat, Mr. Hughes?
Like everybody there's a fan of me and follows me from the start knows that he trained me, and I have nothing but great things to say about him. He's a good trainer, and I'm sure he's going to continue to train more guys that hopefully we will hear about in the future.
Absolutely. I hope he does, too. He seems like he's a really good guy, too. So
yeah, he is.
Happy to see. Absolutely. All right, heading back to more recent times with Impact Wrestling. On this week's Impact, you're going to be facing Eli Drake. I know you have your ups and downs with Eli over the years. Thoughts on Eli Drake, the performer, and heading into Thursday's Impact broadcast?
I have a lot of respect for Eli. I think he's one of the best guys on the roster, and he's great on the mic also. I think that's why his best quality. And for the guys following the storyline, we have he won the tag title case on Feast of Fire, and I won the world title case on Feast of Fire. And we're both putting our case on the line, and I'm highly confident that I'm going to leave that match tomorrow at both cases.
Absolutely. All right. Looking forward to seeing that. So you're involved in another match coming up at Redemption. I hope I'm not, letting the cat out of the bag, but it looks like it's going to be a six-way match between yourself, Tommy Dreamer, and Eddie Edwards against OVE. There was a lot of talk amongst the wrestling community about the incident, shall we call it, with Eddie Edwards and the baseball bat with Sammy Callahan. As a performer, what is your take on what happened with the baseball bat?
I mean, stuff happens in the industry, and I mean, accidents happen. My beef with it is how Sammy has taken it from an accident, and now he's bragging about it. Like, I mean, I lost a lot of respect for him about that. So I guess I have to. I mean, I'm in the match on April 22nd, so I guess I'm gonna have to do something about it, right?
Absolutely. And thoughts on going into that kind of match? Is it something you got to psych yourself up for, getting involved in such a hardcore match?
I mean, 7 years in the NFL has been hardcore, so I mean, I think that match is gonna be a little easier.
All right. So now you've made it a point of saying in a few of your on-camera promos for Impact Wrestling that this is the year that you win the World Heavyweight Championship. Is that still your goal, and has that always been your goal since entering Impact Wrestling?
Yeah, I came into 2018 knowing and thinking with the mindset that 2018 was going to be the year of Moose and the year I become Impact World Champion. I've been training myself that way, and I always have that in the back of my mind. And I mean, every goal I've ever set out, I've achieved it. So this one is not going to be any different.
Very cool. When we last spoke, you were the grand champion, and I kind of asked you what the future was of that belt because it kind of felt like it was maybe getting a little bit lost in the shuffle, and now it seems like it's continuing to do so. Thoughts on the grand championship, and do you hope that they keep it around as a secondary title?
I mean, I think it's a good concept with the whole 3 rounds thing. I think we went away from that a little bit, but I mean, it's not my call to say if we keep the title or not. I mean, but whatever Scott D'Amore and Don and Sanjay decide to do with it, I trust I trust their input in what they do in the company, and they have my support 100%.
Very cool. Those who listen to this show know that my 3 big companies, the companies I watch, are not necessarily just the big guy, not just WWE, but I love Impact Wrestling, I love Lucha Underground, and I love Ring of Honor. This weekend, all 3 companies are going to be at WrestleCon. It's going to be a heck of a time for a wrestling fan. There's been some squabbling, some talking about maybe Impact Wrestling getting involved and doing some stuff with Ring of Honor down the road. As a guy who came from there, how would you like to see Impact Wrestling and Ring of Honor kind of team up?
I mean, it's 2018. Don't be surprised. That's what I have to say about that.
So you kind of do view it as WWE against the world then, to some extent?
I want to say WWE against the world. It's just, I mean, I think we're in a day and age in wrestling where why would companies not want to work with each other, you know? And I mean, you're seeing it with a big, with this weekend coming up with Impact versus Lucha, where a lot of people thought that would never happen, and look, it's happening. And I mean, you never know. You never know. It might be something that we work with Ring of Honor down the road. I mean, don't be surprised. I mean, like I said, it's 2018. I think wrestling is evolving.
Excellent. And you've been heading to Japan a lot yourself. You've worked a lot of Pro Wrestling Noah events. Thoughts on working in Japan versus working in the U.S.?
Oh, man, I love Japan. I love the culture there. I love the crowd. And, I mean, with different countries, the fans respond to stuff differently. And, I mean, the Japanese fans respond to what we do a little bit differently than what the UK fans or what the American fans and the Mexican fans respond to what we do. But, yeah, I love Japan. I can't wait to go back.
Excellent. All right, so I've been given a kind of a time frame that I have to stick within, so I'm going to let you go in just 1 second. I have to just kind of wrap up with a general question, and what can we expect to see from Moose going forward with Impact Wrestling?
Just see me give 110% of everything I do with Impact. is what you could expect from me.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I wish you the best of luck. I want to kind of just tell you something off the cuff. When I first saw you work a Ring of Honor match, gosh, got to be about 4 years ago, I called my friend and I said, "What do you know about Moose?" And he said, "Oh, he's a big guy." And I said, "It's going to see what happens with him." And I kind of said, "I think he's going to go places." And look where you are now. So, again,
I appreciate that, man.
Well, I appreciate that too. Hey, man, thank you for taking the time to do this with us. I asked you for a liner before, but I'm going to ask you, do you mind if I ask you for just a station ID saying this is Moose and you're listening to Interactive Wrestling Radio?
Yeah, this is Moose and you're listening to Interactive Wrestling Radio.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much. I'll let you get on with your day. Sounds like you're doing media all day today.
Yeah, right.
This is the Wrestling Epicenter. For over 15 years, we've brought you the top names in professional wrestling for exclusive interviews. Everybody you see here has been interviewed by our site. But we're more than just interviews. So be sure and check out WrestlingEpicenter.com for news, results, information, and of course our store. WrestlingEpicenter.com, your #1 source for wrestling information.